In the year 2157, humanity had finally achieved its long-held dream of becoming an interstellar civilization. The first wave of colonists had established thriving communities on Mars, Europa, and even in the Alpha Centauri system. Earth had become a shining beacon of progress, a hub of interstellar commerce and cultural exchange. It was in this era of newfound cosmic harmony that Zara X, a young xenobiologist from the distant planet Lumina, found herself assigned to a research station orbiting Earth. The Luminians, a species of bioluminescent humanoids with an advanced understanding of genetics, had been one of the first alien races to make contact with Earth. Their arrival had ushered in a new age of scientific cooperation and mutual understanding. Zara X had always been fascinated by humans, their resilience, their adaptability, their capacity for emotion. All of it intrigued her, but what fascinated her most was their reproductive process. Luminians reproduce through a complex form of parthenogenesis, and the idea of two individuals coming together to create life seemed both primitive and oddly poetic to her. As she stepped off the shuttle onto the gleaming research station, Zara X's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with excitement. Her iridescent skin shimmered under the station's artificial lights, drawing curious glances from the human crew members. She paid them no mind, her four eyes focused on the task ahead. She was here to study human biology up close, and nothing would distract her from her mission. Or so she thought. Dr. Alex Chen, the station's lead geneticist, was having a terrible day. His latest experiment on adapting human physiology for long-term space habitation had yielded disappointing results, and to top it off, he'd spilled his last cup of real Earth coffee all over his lab coat. As he rounded the corner, muttering curses under his breath, he collided head-on with something soft, warm, and glowing. "Oh, for the love of... I'm so sorry," Alex sputtered, reaching out instinctively to steady the being he'd nearly knocked over. His hand made contact with skin that felt like warm silk, pulsing with an inner light. Zara X's four eyes widened in surprise, her bioluminescent patterns flickering rapidly in what Alex would later learn was the Luminian equivalent of a blush. "The fault is mine," she said, her melodic voice tinged with embarrassment. "I was not paying adequate attention to my surroundings." Alex found himself staring, captivated by the play of light across Zara X's features. He'd seen Luminians before, of course, but never this close. Her eyes, two larger ones above and two smaller ones below, were a deep, swirling purple that seemed to contain entire galaxies. "I'm Alex," he said, realizing he was still holding her arm and quickly letting go. "Doctor? Alex Chen. I don't think we've met?" "Zara X," she replied, her pattern stabilizing into a gentle, pulsing glow. "I have just arrived from Lumina. I am here to study human biology." Alex's eyebrows shot up. "Really? That's fascinating. I'm actually working on some genetics research that you might find interesting. Would you like to see?" Zara X's patterns brightened noticeably. "I would be most gratified to observe your work, Doctor. Chen." As Alex led her towards his lab, neither of them realized that this chance encounter would change not only their lives but the course of interstellar relations forever. Over the next few weeks, Alex and Zara X fell into an easy rhythm of collaboration. They spent long hours in the lab, discussing the intricacies of human and Luminian biology, swapping stories about their respective worlds, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, growing closer. Alex found himself captivated by Zara X's brilliant mind and her unique perspective on life. She, in turn, was fascinated by Alex's passion for his work and his ability to think outside the box. One evening, as they were reviewing data on human cardiovascular functions, Zara X turned to Alex with a curious expression. "Alex," she began, her patterns swirling in what he had come to recognize as her deep-in-thought mode. "I have been studying human mating rituals, but there is much I still do not understand. Would you be willing to provide clarification?" Alex nearly choked on his coffee. Sure," he managed, trying to keep his voice steady. "What would you like to know?" Zara X's patterns pulsed rapidly. "I understand the biological mechanics, but I am curious about the emotional aspects. How do humans choose their mates? What does it feel like to be attracted to someone? Alex felt his face growing warm. Well, he said, rubbing the back of his neck. It's different for everyone, I suppose. But generally, when you're attracted to someone, you feel a kind of excitement when you're around them. Your heart might beat faster, you might feel a bit nervous, but in a good way. You want to spend time with them, learn everything about them. Zara X was silent for a moment, her patterns swirling in complex patterns. I see, she said finally. And have you experienced this attraction, Alex? Alex's heart skipped a beat. Was she asking what he thought she was asking? Yes, he said softly. I have. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the lab seemed to fade away around them. Zara X's patterns were pulsing in a way Alex had never seen before, a rapid, almost frantic dance of light across her skin. I believe, she said, her voice barely above a whisper, that I may be experiencing this attraction. To you. The words hung in the air between them, charged with potential energy. Alex felt as if he were standing on the edge of a precipice, about to take a leap into the unknown. Zara, he said, his voice husky with emotion. I feel the same way. What happened next was a blur of sensation and emotion. Alex wasn't sure who moved first, but suddenly they were in each other's arms, lips meeting in a kiss that sent shockwaves through both their bodies. Zara X's skin blazed with light, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing in rapid, erratic bursts. She had never experienced anything like this before. The warmth of Alex's body against hers, the softness of his lips, the flood of chemicals surging through her system. For Alex, the experience was equally overwhelming. Zara X's skin hummed with energy, sending tingles through his body wherever they touched. Her alien physiology responded to his touch in ways he had never imagined, patterns of light dancing across her skin in response to his caresses. As things heated up, however, Zara X suddenly pulled away, her 4 eyes wide with alarm. Alex, she gasped. I feel strange. My cardiovascular system is behaving erratically. Is this normal? Alex, still catching his breath, took a moment to process her words. Your heart's racing? Yeah, that's normal. It's part of the excitement. But Zara X didn't look reassured. Her patterns were pulsing faster than Alex had ever seen, and she was breathing heavily. I do not think this is normal excitement, she said, her voice tight with worry. My bioluminescent response is far beyond standard parameters. I fear something may be wrong. Concern quickly replaced passion as Alex realized the seriousness of the situation. Okay, let's get you to the medical bay, he said, helping her to her feet. Better safe than sorry. As they hurried through the station's corridors, Alex couldn't help but wonder, had their interspecies romance just taken a potentially dangerous turn? The medical bay was a flurry of activity as Dr. Sarah Johnson, the station's chief medical officer, ran scan after scan on Zara X. The Luminian lay on the biobed, her skin pulsing with rapid, erratic patterns of light, her 4 eyes wide with a mixture of fear and embarrassment. I've never seen readings like this, Dr. Johnson muttered, frowning at her holographic displays. Her bioluminescent response is off the charts and her cardiovascular system is under significant stress. Alex paced back and forth, worry etched across his features. Is she going to be okay? He asked, unable to keep the fear out of his voice. Dr. Johnson gave him a sharp look. Care to explain how she ended up in this state, Doctor? Chen? Alex felt his face flush. We were conducting an experiment on interspecies interactions, he stammered. An experiment, Dr. Johnson repeated flatly. Right. And did this experiment involve any physical contact? Before Alex could formulate a response, Zara X spoke up. We engaged in what I believe humans refer to as kissing, she said, her voice weak but matter-of-fact. It was intense. Dr. Johnson's eyebrows shot up. I see, she said, a hint of amusement creeping into her voice despite the seriousness of the situation. Well, it seems your experiment had some unexpected results. Zara X's system isn't used to the flood of hormones and neurochemicals that come with human-style arousal. It sent her into a kind of biochemical shock. Alex felt a wave of guilt wash over him. Will she be all right? Dr. Johnson nodded, her expression softening. She should be fine with some rest and medication to help her system rebalance, but I'd advise against any further experiments until we can do some more research on the physiological compatibility of humans and Luminians. As the doctor administered a hypospray to help stabilize Zara X's condition, Alex took the Luminian's hand in his. Her skin was cooler than usual, the light pulsing weakly beneath the surface. I'm so sorry, Zara, he said softly. I should have been more careful. I never meant to put you in danger. Zara X's patterns shifted, forming what Alex recognized as her equivalent of a smile. Do not apologize, Alex, she said. The experience was enlightening. Despite the unexpected complications, I do not regret it. As relief washed over him, Alex couldn't help but chuckle. You know, he said, most humans don't end up in the emergency room after their first kiss. You really know how to make an impression. Zara X's patterns flickered in amusement. Perhaps, she said, we should consider this a successful experiment in pushing the boundaries of interspecies relations. News of the incident spread through the station like wildfire. Within hours, it seemed everyone knew about the human geneticist and the Luminian xenobiologist who had ended up in the medical bay after a passionate encounter. For Alex and Zara X, the following days were a whirlwind of medical tests, debriefings with station administration, and awkward explanations to curious colleagues. But through it all, their bond only grew stronger. As Zara X recovered in the medical bay, Alex rarely left her side. They talked for hours, sharing stories of their childhoods, their hopes and dreams, and their vision for the future of human-Luminian relations. You know, Alex said one evening, as they watched the Earth slowly rotate below the station, I think we might have stumbled onto something important here. Zara X turned her 4 eyes to him, curiosity evident in her gently pulsing patterns. What do you mean? Alex gestured between them. This, United States. We've proven that humans and Luminians can form deep emotional connections. And while the physical aspects might need some adjustment, he added with a wry smile, I think this could be the start of something big. Zara X was quiet for a moment, her patterns swirling in thought. You are suggesting that our experience could pave the way for broader interspecies relationships? Exactly. Alex nodded. Think about it. If we can overcome our biological differences, it could open up a whole new era of understanding between our species. We could learn so much from each other. As they discussed the possibilities, excitement building between them, neither of them noticed Dr. Johnson standing in the doorway, a thoughtful expression on her face. A week later, Alex and Zara X found themselves in a meeting with the station's commander, Dr. Johnson, and a holographic projection of the Luminian High Council. Let me get this straight, Commander Rodriguez said, pinching the bridge of his nose. You want to turn your incident into an official research project? Alex nodded enthusiastically. Yes, sir. We believe that studying the physiological and emotional aspects of human-Luminian relationships could provide invaluable insights into both our species. It could pave the way for deeper cooperation and understanding. Zara X, her patterns pulsing with quiet determination, added, Our initial experience, while unexpected in its intensity, has shown that there is much we can learn from each other. The potential benefits to both our species are significant. The Luminian counselors conferred among themselves, their patterns shifting rapidly in silent communication. Finally, the head counselor spoke. We find your proposal intriguing, she said, her melodic voice tinged with curiosity. While the idea of interspecies relationships is unconventional, we cannot deny the potential scientific value. Commander Rodriguez looked skeptical. And how exactly do you propose to conduct this research? We can't have our crew members ending up in the medical bay every time there's an interaction. Dr. Johnson stepped forward. I've been giving this some thought, she said. We could develop a series of controlled experiments, starting with basic physiological responses to physical proximity and gradually working up to more intimate interactions. We'd monitor vital signs closely and establish clear safety protocols. Alex and Zara X exchanged a glance, their excitement palpable. This was more than they had hoped for, not just acceptance of their relationship but official support to explore its implications. "There is one condition," the Luminian counselor added, her patterns taking on a serious hue. "Given the potential diplomatic implications of this research, we request that it be conducted under the oversight of both human and Luminian authorities. We will send additional Luminian scientists to assist and observe." Commander Rodriguez nodded slowly. "I'll need to clear this with Earth government, but I think we might be onto something important here. Dr. Chen, Zara X, are you prepared to be the primary subjects for this study? It won't be easy, and it'll put your relationship under intense scrutiny." Alex took Zara X's hand, marveling as always at the way her skin lit up at his touch. "We're ready," he said firmly, "whatever it takes to bring our people closer together." Zara X's patterns pulsed in agreement. "We face the unknown together," she said, her voice filled with determination. As the meeting adjourned and plans were set in motion, Alex and Zara X stood by the observation window, looking out at the star-studded expanse of space. "You know," Alex said softly, "when I signed up for this mission, I never imagined I'd end up as part of a groundbreaking interspecies romance study." Zara X's patterns shimmered with amusement. "And I never imagined that my research into human biology would become quite so personal," she replied. They shared a laugh, the sound of their mingled mirth echoing through the station corridors. As they stood there hand in hand, both felt a sense of standing on the brink of something monumental. Their accidental encounter had set in motion events that could reshape the future of human-Luminian relations. "Whatever happens," Alex said, giving Zara X's hand a gentle squeeze, "I'm glad it's you I'm sharing this journey with." Zara X's patterns pulsed warmly. "As am I, Alex," she replied. "As am I." In the weeks that followed, the research station was abuzz with activity. A dedicated lab was set up for the Human-Luminian Interpersonal Relations Study, or HLIRS as it came to be known. Equipment was brought in to monitor every conceivable biological function, from heart rate and brain activity to bioluminescent responses and hormone levels. Alex and Zara X found themselves at the center of a whirlwind of attention. Additional Luminian scientists arrived, their curiosity evident in their rapidly shifting light patterns. Human researchers from various disciplines clamored to be part of the groundbreaking study. As the primary subjects, Alex and Zara X underwent a battery of preliminary tests. They were poked, prodded, scanned, and questioned about every aspect of their physiology and psychology. "I feel like a lab rat," Alex grumbled one day as he emerged from yet another brain scan. Zara X's patterns flickered in amusement. "Is that not what we signed up for?" she teased. "Besides, I find the thoroughness of the study quite fascinating." Alex couldn't help but smile. Zara X's endless curiosity was one of the things he loved most about her. "You would," he said fondly. "Just promise me one thing." "What is that?" Zara X asked, her patterns swirling with interest. "Promise me that no matter what happens in this study, no matter what we discover, we won't lose sight of what brought us together in the first place, our feelings for each other." Zara X's patterns pulsed warmly. "I promise, Alex, our bond transcends mere scientific inquiry. It is special." As they shared a tender moment, Dr. Johnson cleared her throat from the doorway. "If you two lovebirds are ready," she said with a wry smile, "we're about to begin the first interaction experiment." Alex and Zara X followed her to the main lab, where a team of eager researchers awaited them. The room was filled with monitoring equipment, and a large, comfortable-looking couch stood in the center. "All right," Dr. Johnson began, addressing the assembled team. "Today, we'll be observing the physiological responses to prolonged physical proximity and mild physical contact. Alex, Zara X, if you could take a seat on the couch and hold hands, we'll begin our observations." As they sat down and joined hands, Alex felt the familiar tingle of Zara X's bioluminescent skin against his. He marveled at how something so simple could still send his heart racing. "Fascinating," murmured one of the Luminian scientists, her patterns pulsing rapidly as she studied the readouts. Zara X's bioluminescent response is already intensifying, and both subjects are showing elevated heart rates. For the next hour, Alex and Zara X sat together, occasionally being instructed to change their position or level of contact. They progressed from holding hands to Zara X resting her head on Alex's shoulder, to a full embrace. Throughout it all, the scientists watched in rapt attention, calling out observations and furiously taking notes. Human subjects' oxytocin levels are off the charts. Luminian bioluminescence patterns showing previously unobserved configurations. Cardiovascular synchronization occurring between both subjects. As the experiment wound down, Dr. Johnson approached Alex and Zara X with a broad smile. "This is incredible," she said. "We're seeing levels of physiological synchronization that we never thought possible between different species. Your bodies are literally adapting to be more compatible with each other." Alex and Zara X exchanged a look of wonder. "So, what does this mean?" Alex asked. Dr. Johnson's eyes sparkled with excitement. "It means, Dr. Chen, that we may be on the brink of discovering a new frontier in interspecies biology. Your bond isn't just emotional, it's reshaping your physiology on a fundamental level." As the implications of this sank in, Zara X's patterns swirled with a complex mix of emotions. "This goes beyond anything we anticipated," she said softly. "We are not just studying interspecies relations, we are forging them anew." Chapter 9. Ripple Effects. News of the initial findings from the HLIRS spread rapidly, first throughout the station, then to Earth, and finally to Lumina. The reaction was immediate and intense. On Earth, opinions were divided. Some hailed it as a new chapter in human evolution and interstellar relations. Others expressed concern about the implications of humans becoming biologically compatible with alien species. On Lumina, the response was equally mixed. Many were fascinated by the possibility of deeper connections with humans, while traditionalists worried about the dilution of Luminian biological purity. As the study progressed, Alex and Zara X found themselves becoming minor celebrities. They were invited to give interviews, participate in educational programs, and even address the United Earth Council. "It's a bit overwhelming," Alex admitted one evening as they relaxed in their quarters after a long day of experiments and public appearances. "I never thought our relationship would become a matter of interstellar diplomacy." Zara X's patterns pulsed soothingly. "It is a great responsibility," she agreed. "But also a great opportunity. We are showing both our species that love truly can transcend all boundaries, even those of biology and evolution." As they cuddled together, reveling in the comfort of each other's presence, a call came through on their comm system. It was Commander Rodriguez. "Sorry to disturb you," he said, his face serious. "But we've just received word from EarthGov. The Galactic Council has taken an interest in our little experiment. They're sending representatives to observe and evaluate the potential impact on interstellar relations." Alex felt a knot form in his stomach. The Galactic Council was the highest authority in known space, comprising representatives from all spacefaring civilizations. Their interest meant that the implications of his and Zara X's relationship were even farther reaching than they had imagined. "When will they arrive?" Zara X asked, her patterns betraying a mix of excitement and apprehension. 3 days, Rodriguez replied. "I suggest you both prepare yourselves. The eyes of the galaxy are about to be upon you." As the call ended, Alex and Zara X sat in stunned silence for a moment. Finally, Alex chuckled softly. "You know," he said, shaking his head in disbelief, "when I first bumped into you in that corridor, I never imagined it would lead to all this." Zara X's patterns shimmered with amusement. "Life, it seems, is full of unexpected twists, but I would not change our path for anything." As they embraced, both felt the weight of what was to come. Their love, born of a chance encounter and nurtured through shared curiosity and mutual respect, had become a catalyst for change on a galactic scale. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, a testament to the power of love to bridge even the vast distances between the stars. The arrival of the Galactic Council representatives turned the research station into a hive of frenzied activity. Delegations from a dozen different species poured in, each eager to observe the groundbreaking human-Luminian pair for themselves. Alex and Zara X found themselves at the center of a whirlwind of meetings, demonstrations, and intense scrutiny. They were asked to undergo a series of tests and interactions while representatives from across the galaxy watched and debated the implications. One particularly memorable session involved a Zorblaxian empath, a being of pure energy capable of sensing and interpreting emotional states across species. As Alex and Zara X sat together, holding hands and gazing into each other's eyes, the Zorblaxian's form pulsed and shifted with increasing intensity. "Extraordinary," the being's translator intoned. "The emotional resonance between these two is unlike anything I have encountered in my centuries of study. Their feelings transcend the boundaries of their disparate biologies, creating a harmony that defies conventional understanding." The Galactic Council representatives murmured among themselves, their various appendages, tentacles, and sensory organs twitching with excitement or concern, depending on their perspective. An elder Vulpexi, a fox-like being known for their logical approach to galactic diplomacy, stepped forward. "While the emotional compatibility is impressive," she said, her voice a melodious trill, "we must consider the larger implications. If humans and Luminians can achieve this level of bond, could it not lead to the dissolution of species boundaries? What would that mean for the stability of our galactic community?" A heated debate erupted among the representatives, with arguments ranging from enthusiastic support for a new era of interspecies harmony to dire warnings of genetic chaos and the loss of unique cultural identities. Through it all, Alex and Zara X remained a calm center in the storm of galactic politics. When asked for their perspective, they spoke not of grand theories or potential consequences, but of their personal journey. "What we have found in each other," Alex said, his voice steady and sincere, "is not a threat to our respective species, but an expansion of what it means to be human, to be Luminian, to be sentient beings in this vast universe." Zara X's patterns pulsed in agreement. "Our bond has not diminished our individual identities," she added. "Rather, it has enriched them. We have learned to see the universe through each other's eyes, to appreciate the beauty in our differences as well as our similarities." Their words seemed to strike a chord with many of the representatives. The debate shifted from potential risks to potential opportunities. How interspecies relationships like theirs could foster deeper understanding and cooperation across the galaxy. As the session wound down, the head of the Galactic Council, a wise and ancient celestial from the Andromeda Galaxy, approached Alex and Zara X. Its form shimmered like a living constellation, stars swirling in patterns too complex for human or Luminian eyes to fully comprehend. "Young ones," it said, its voice resonating not in the air but directly in their minds. "Your union has sparked a change that will ripple across the cosmos. The path ahead may not be easy, but know that you have opened a door to a future of greater unity and understanding among all sentient beings." As the Celestial drifted away, Alex and Zara X exchanged a look of wonder and trepidation. They had started this journey simply following their hearts, and now they found themselves at the forefront of a galactic revolution. "No pressure, right?" Alex quipped, feeling slightly overwhelmed. Zara X's patterns shimmered with a mix of amusement and determination. "We have each other," she said softly. "Together, we can face whatever challenges lie ahead." As they stood there, hand in hand, surrounded by beings from across the cosmos, both felt a sense of destiny. Their love, born of a chance encounter on a space station, had become a beacon of hope for a more united galaxy. Whatever the future held, they would face it together, human and Luminian, bound by a love that transcended the stars themselves. 5 years after the fateful day when a human geneticist literally bumped into a Luminian xenobiologist, the galaxy had changed in ways few could have predicted. The research station where it all began had expanded into the Interspecies Harmony Institute, a sprawling complex dedicated to fostering understanding and cooperation between different species. Alex and Zara X, now married in a ceremony that had been broadcast across a dozen galaxies, served as its directors. Interspecies relationships, once a taboo subject, had become increasingly common. Humans and Luminians led the way, but other species soon followed.